our first cooking demo of the day. And what's going to happen is we're going to do the demo and then samples will come out at the end. So please don't bombard our volunteers, and also samples will come in a, I know, that's funny. I say that every week. Never going to laugh. And our samples come in compostable containers, so please find the closest green bin to put your plates and forks and all that in. Let's give a huge round of applause and welcome Chef Isaac from Maven.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming out to the Ferry Farmers Market to celebrate roots with us. We are in the height of the season where the root vegetables are super sweet and delicious. David from Heirloom Organics supplied us with a lot of beautiful roots. So today we're doing a dish of honey-glazed root vegetables with sauteed kale, pickled mustard seeds, and smoked ham. This is kind of an inspiration. Thanksgiving is coming up quick, so it's like a little take on candied yams, goats, and ham. So as the recipes that have been supplied, a couple of things that I recommend to do a day ahead, just they take a few hours to marinate and get to be good. One of them is the infused garlic oil, which I started this morning. And it consists of a garlic head, bay leaf, peppercorn, and thyme. Just want to cut the garlic in half to expose those flavors that are going to come out, and then gently bring it up until the garlic becomes a little brown. Turn it off. You can keep a lid on it, keep it in a warm place in the kitchen until the aromatics come through and your kitchen is smelling really delicious. So then we'll just set that off to the side. That's where we're going to saute our kale in later. And then I'm going to go ahead and start off with the pickled mustard seeds. Now the mustard seeds you can find at any spice shop. We like to use yellow mustard seeds, as you can see here. They are a little less bitter than the brown or the black, and they have a nice pungency, a little bit of spice to them. So we're going to take our champagne vinegar. We're going to add our sugar and salt is already in there. We're going to add our yellow mustard seeds in there, and then that's going to come up to a low simmer. And mustard tends to be really volatile. If it gets too hot, it can kind of become rancid and have an off-putting taste. So we just want to slowly bring it up gently, and then once it comes to a little bubble of a simmer, we're going to turn that off and let that rest. So while that's going, we're going to start up our root vegetables. So the root vegetables that we're using today, we're going to showcase rutabagas, turnips, and carrots. And so I have rutabagas here, which the rutabagas and turnips are actually in the mustard family, so it's where they kind of have this harmonious combination with the mustard seeds. The honey glaze is kind of a little take that we like to do with Maven of honey mustard. So you got the different combinations that go really well with ham. So the different vegetables we have are rutabaga, which is the orange flesh, very sweet. It's actually a hybrid of turnip and cabbage. And so there's rutabaga's uncle, turnip. We have two kinds. We got Tokyo turnips, we got scarlet turnips. Nice little red hue on the back side of that. And then we have these Thumbelina carrots that are super sweet. So we have a mixture of all three of these going on. I'm doing a really small batch, so I'm going to do them in the same pan. We want to get our pan screaming hot and use vegetable oil. We use grapeseed oil because it's got a pretty decent, oh, I lost my top. We use vegetable oil because it's got a nice smoking point. And the key to this dish is to make it really, really hot. We want it to be nice and smoking because we're going to caramelize these vegetables, and they do contain quite a bit of water. And you're not going to get any caramelization really until all the water is evaporated. Plus, it also cools down our pan, so we're going to start that up. I like grapeseed oil because it does not have a lot of its own intrinsic flavor that will be contributed so the vegetables are allowed to shine. So once we add that, we're going to add a little bit of salt, cracked pepper, let those caramelize up. Okay, as you can see, the mustard seeds are coming up slowly. They're almost there. They do get a little pungent, so probably not want to stick the face in there unless you really like to sneeze. You got that going. All right. Turn those down low. All right. So as that's coming up, we're going to get together our kale, which is the Lacinato kale. It's also a type of mustard. It's in the same family. We're going to just chiffonade this up or slice it really, really fine. And as that, the key to this is we're just going to slice it right through the stems because the stems bring this nice crunch and texture. So the trick to this is, one, having a really, really sharp knife. Be very, very careful with it. We're going to lay them down. These are young and super tender cool. So my oil is up, so we can get to the cooking part on this. So now when adding stuff to hot oil, you want to be careful to always do it away from you so as not to splash yourself. Because that's not fun. Oh! Go flambe. Blow that out. Okay. Alright, vegetables in there.
Can you do that for the camera?
Flashy. Alright, so a little bit of salt. And salt, I like to salt all throughout the cooking process so that the salt can permeate the vegetable and season it all the way through so we don't just have salt at the end and then like a bland vegetable in the middle. And the salt also helps to release some of that moisture from these vegetables. Nice generous dose of pepper. Stir that around a little bit. Mash it. Okay, so we got that going on. As it gets closer to getting a little brown, I'm going to add the thyme bundles. Now, we're just using thyme sprigs, and at home you can add it in there. We want that flavor to mingle with them. You don't have to wrap it up, although it is kind of cute. So if you have time and the stuff for it, then go ahead and do it. We're going to leave that here so you can get that going. Now I'm going to bring my butter and my penny too. We got this beautiful honey from Marshall's Farm. It's Fairmont oat honey, which is actually from San Francisco, where the hives and the bees are. It's delicious. All right, so back to our kale. Well, that's gone. I'm going to bring this, and we're just going to roll this up as tight as you can, like a little cigar. Just going to gently bundle up that stuff there. You guys can all see we're good. And then just rock it back and forth. Super thin, like little ribbons. Green love. Now don't worry if it's not super thin. I mean, if you get this kale from David at Heirloom Organics, it's super tender. It's got this earthy sweetness to it. You can actually go a little bigger. It's quite all right. Okay. There you go. And you can go pretty far down on the stem. That's good. All right. So compost. Take care of Mama Nature. All right. So as you can see, we're starting to get a little flame in my eyebrows and a little browning going on. Okay, so we want to get just a little bit more caramelization. That helps concentrate the sweetness. Like we talked about, they're pretty much about anywhere from 80 to 90% water. So that is that's not a lot of flavor. It's a lot of goodness and cooking medium, but we want to reduce that down to concentrate that flavor and get the most out of these vegetables. Little fun fact about root vegetables: the way they work out is they are literally just energy stores for plants so that they can make it through seasons where they don't grow. So they're super flavorful and super dense because all the energy goes down to the ground, and based on the soil that they're grown in, it gets all that good stuff in there. And that's why they're really tasty. But you got to go in there and pull it out, coax it out, and talk sweet to them. All right, that's good. So now we have our kale. Boom. Tons of this stuff for you. That in there. All right. That's good now. Right. Always keep it nice and clean. Keep the kitchen clean. Happy work environment. Happy. Okay, so we're at a point now where we're starting to get a good amount of caramelization, and as these cook with the honey and the butter, they're going to get a little bit more, but then it'll also bleed out into it, and the way the liquid interacts with the vegetables will just kind of like spread out all that flavor, so it's nice and even all over. So we're going to take our thyme bundles, throw those in. And need a couple pats of butter. Don't be shy, it's a pretty rich dish. Thanksgiving, it's time for celebration. Extra fat is good. Then you want to get a nice combination of that with the honey. So, but the honey, if it goes in there, it can sometimes stick to your pan. So add your butter, let it melt out a little bit. You'll have a little liquid bed, if you will, of this nice flavorful fat. We got Clover Organic unsalted. Oh, unsalted butter is the way to go. Sorry, forgot to mention that. Okay, so as you can see, it's getting nice and lovely. The thyme, the leaves are starting to crackle in there. It's pretty tasty. Let's go ahead and add some of this awesome honey. Scoop that up. Boom. Goodness. All right. Now we want to kind of work it together, and you'll create this little frothy, happy environment. that they all want to live in. And they're gonna, sorry, I'm a goofball. They're gonna get, as they cook, you want that liquid that's gonna be releasing from the vegetables and also from the butter itself to kind of release. Oh yeah, get in there. It smells like a walk through the Sierras. While eating a Cliff Bar. All right, so at this point, we've got a little bit of a reduction of the liquid. So this is, you can kind of tell the honey will start to thicken as it cooks, and the ideal point is to put this in your oven and let it cook until the vegetables are soft and the glaze just coats it all together. So at this point, I'm going to hand this off to my great volunteer here. She's going to take it in the back and throw it in the oven. Okay, so while that's going on, we're going to get the...
So remind us what's happening.
Okay, so
Throw it in the oven.
So put it in the oven, preheat it to 350 to 400 degrees, depending on your oven. The hotter it is, the more rapid it will reduce and caramelize. So you want to kind of just keep an eye on it. I usually check it every 5 minutes or so. And then once it's fork tender, you're good to go. So it'll all kind of caramelize down. If it's still a little liquidy, like some vegetables vary from week to week with their water content and whatnot. So if it does happen to look a little wet, then just put it on the stove top just to finish reducing it down to almost a serving place. Alright, so I think I accidentally turned the mustard seeds off. There you go. Just gonna crank it back up. Just so you can kind of see. So the mustard seeds, actually a fun fact about mustard seeds. The first ever recorded mustard was made in Rome. So the ham you can add right into the vegetables, like a nice slice of ham, and like glaze that in there, and that's just going to kind of bring that marriage and harmony of flavors together. But just in case there's any vegetarians in the audience, I'm going to do it separately, so nobody or anybody who doesn't like the pig. So that's that. Okay. We do. Oh.
I was just going to comment on how thoughtful you are.
I'm
not sure any chef has made a vegetarian option for our sampling before.
Oh, sweet. So people can give thanks for that. There you go. At Maven, we do a variation of what I'm giving you today that's inspired by Thanksgiving. Some of my favorite parts of Thanksgiving are my mom's stuffing and the greens, braised greens, and candy yams. And so we do one at the restaurant using the same kale that we're doing here, but we do a chicken cooked with rice, I guess is the best way to describe it. We bone it out, we roll it up, we poach it, so it's nice and moist. And then we dry it out, we deep fry it, so it's nice and crispy. And we roast it, so it's perfect. That's that. So we slice it, we throw that on top of stuffing cooked in the cast iron, so it's nice and crispy but also moist. And then we do persimmons fire roasted in their own branches. So for today, to celebrate roots, I've substituted the root vegetables with persimmons. But then we also add ham in there, finish with pickled mustard seeds. It's kind of fun. You should come in and check it out. Maven Restaurant. We're in the Lower Haight. We're a craft cocktail forward bar and restaurant.
Are you open on Thanksgiving, or is this
We
before?
are not open on Thanksgiving.
Okay, so
I am really excited. I get to spend a little time with the family, so I'm happy about that.
so before or after we can get?
Before or after. The chicken's on there right now. It's a big hit. A lot of people are liking it, which makes me happy. I'm gonna take a couple of these out. Okay. So here we have our ham. We're using smoked country-style ham from Vande Rose Farms. They are out of Iowa. It's all natural Duroc breed. It's a 175-year-old heritage breed of pork. And it's beautiful and delicious. You can get it at most fine retailers. So we're gonna just add this in here, and the smokiness of the ham is kind of where there's like the contribution to this dish. You want the root vegetables to shine. You want the kale to be a supplement and a nice counterpoint, but the ham is also a fun element. Don't feel bad if you have to miss out on it. Okay. So now I'm going to scoot this back. I'm just going to get a nice slow go. Okay, so now our kale, which we have there, nice little strings of confetti, and then we have our garlic oil, which has been infusing for I want to say about 2 hours now. And this is the recipe for the garlic oil makes way more than needed for this dish. But it is a tasty condiment to have, to use, to saute stuff. It will have not as high a smoking point as straight raw grapeseed oil or vegetable oil, but it will be high enough to be able to cook most anything. And it's super tasty. Okay. this one. So anyways, back to Maven. We are a craft cocktail forward bar and restaurant. We were one of the pioneers. We've been open for 2 years this December. Really excited about that anniversary. We were one of the pioneers in San Francisco to pair cocktails with food. And for this dish, we actually do a red wine reduction that we have the base for our spirit that we do in there with a little sage. And then it goes to the chicken that we pair. It's kind of fun. It's nice. If you like to drink, just come on out. Lower Haight's a great neighborhood. Anyone here from Lower Haight? One. Yes, we got one. Anyone here been to the Lower Haight? Yes, we got a lot.
What's your cross street?
Cross streets. We are right on Haight and Steiner. Cool. Lot of beautiful artwork down there. There's actually a Save Plenty project going on. I don't know if you've ever driven up Haight Street past Laguna, the giant pink plenty that's out there. Pretty awesome. Okay.
I've seen that. What's the deal?
That was actually a project to beautify that area as a gateway to the Lower Haight. And so the artists, they're building a residential community up there. And so they've been contracted to make a bronze plated statue of the pink plenty. So it's one of our local artists. It's amazing. Almost every block, you messed up my burners. Almost every block has a mural on some wall. So if you like art, if you like parks, there's Bose Park. It's a great dog-friendly park. Be careful because there's a lot of dogs around there. So don't be walking. I went to school at the CCA in San Francisco back when it was on Polk Street, the heart of the TL. Back in 2000, I graduated there. And I spent a lot of time on the peninsula working at different restaurants. 231 Ellsworth, I worked my way up from a little fledgling little extern all the way up to the chef over a 10-year period. I did spend about 13 months at Vande Rose. And I was part of the crew that got top 50 restaurants in the world, 2 Michelin stars, had a lot of fun, made some incredible food. That's probably where I really grew into my style. Chef Kinch was amazing with his attention to detail with vegetables and just the respect for the farmers that bring them. There's so much work that goes into them, and it's one of the worst things in the world when you're a cook and you've just ruined something that you've met the guy and you're like, I know how hard you worked on this, I'm sorry. So that was that. Then I came up here and opened Sweet Woodruff. You guys are familiar with that place over on Jones and Sutter. I was working with the guys at Sons and Daughters. Just basically having a lot of fun partying in the kitchen. Opened up Sweet Woodruff, made some good stuff. Took a couple months off to relax, and then joined Maven last year in May. Became chef in January and became partner this May. So yeah, it's been a fun road. It's been good stuff. So you're all gonna have to come in and check us out. We got voted best brunch in San Francisco according to Thrillist. We do that Saturdays and Sunday mornings, and we are open 7 nights a week from 5:30 till last call of 11:30. For a hankering or some late night good grub. It's a great place to eat. All right. At this point. Taste it. All right. I'm gonna leave it. We're gonna do a little. This up here. A little pile of kale for you guys. Root vegetables. It's a really nice glazy sauce. Really nice glazy sauce, so you can use that, to add a little water to it, bring it back, and use that as a sauce over it, or just let them stand free, as you can see. They're really nice.
Whoa.
I like to throw the ham in there, just like poke it so you can see it, but then the vegetables can still pop through. That's the start. Those are nice guys. And then Eliana here is so kind to grab me mustard seeds, just so you can see the difference. Everybody see that okay? You see how they're all kind of a uniform color? They stick together, almost like little caviar like we talked about. And they're just like a uniform beige. Some of these aren't ready yet because you can kind of tell they're lighter. And they have almost, as they cook, the insides be less. So that is
Beautiful.